Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Travel Mold broadcast. And I couldn't be more delighted to have my friend Elliot Ferguson from Washington, D.C. He is the top banana as far as destination marketing is concerned. Good afternoon, Elliot.
Hey, Graham. Good to see you.
And you. Elliot, DC, I know it very well. We had a long discussion beforehand, but it often seems to be, if you like, the well-kept secret of city tourism in North America from an international perspective. Do you think that's a correct assessment?
I absolutely do. I think that as we, span the globe promoting our destination, there is a familiarity to a certain extent with a city like Washington, but there are some mispreconceived notions about Washington in terms of being it is the political state for the United States, head of state, but I don't think that the global community understands the presence of Washington and things to do above and beyond just a political experience.
So if I was thinking of coming and I'd never been, what would be just off the top of your head, what would be the 5 top things that you would think that would attract someone to come to DC and to come to your city?
And you're limiting me to just 5.
Correct, I am.
Fair enough. Okay, so the thing that we love about our city, monuments, memorials, and museums. The things that we focus on would be nightlife, theater, sporting events, the food scene, outdoor activities. So coming to a city like Washington, D.C., yes, do the things that you're familiar with, which might I add, most of them are free, but also tie your experience to going to the Frederick Douglass House, who was a huge abolitionist in the 1800s and 1900s. Going to the Hillwood Estate, where you see a large collection of Fabergé eggs, by an heiress back at the turn of the last century. The Franciscan monastery, whereas you have a replica of the catacombs at the monastery in Washington, D.C. And the list really goes on and on. It's tied to the neighborhoods in Washington, the 180 embassies, the global experience that you have in a city that only has 700,000 people living there.
You used a term earlier, which I liked very much. We used several, actually, but this is one particularly caught my mind, is that a lot of UK tourists and European tourists are knowledge seeker tourism. Now, to me, DC would be the perfect match for knowledge seeking tourism. Is that something that you major on in terms of your marketing?
To a certain extent, because one size does not fit all as it pertains to why people travel. So clearly, when we're in Europe, and for us, London is the number one inbound market for Washington, D.C. for overseas travel. We recognize the fact that several Europeans, especially in the UK, are traveling and they're knowledge seekers. So a lot of our marketing and advertising would be tied to the history of America and the history of the world, things in which you can experience in the city. But when you think about shopping and nightlife and other experiences, sporting events, we want to make sure that we're not just focusing on history in Washington, but also some of the other cool things that you can see and do in our destination.
Okay, well, and the major gateway to get to DC, obviously, is Dulles. Dulles has always been a bit of a pain to get from there downtown. Anything new there?
Well, I'm glad to say that it used to be a pain, because now with the Silver Line, which just opened not even a month ago, you can jump on our metro from Dulles Airport and go all the way into the city for less than $6 and under an hour. So we're really excited about that line. Of course, the cost savings of coming into the city, and then from Washington, if you're choosing to go to other destinations, you can get on take a flight out of Reagan National, which is also served by Metro, or take Amtrak to other destinations. So we're very excited about that and the value add for those visitors coming from Europe.
Cool. And finally, in addition to the standard spectacular cherry blossom type events, what have you got planned for 2023 in terms of event-led tourism?
Yeah, the key thing for us is, as like the rest of the world, getting back on track with visitation, people wanting to travel. We will be focusing on the beginning of the travel season, which is for us a National Cherry Blossom Festival, which attracts over 1 million people for the trees and the festival itself. Passport DC, which takes place in the month of May, series of the embassies that I referenced earlier, let's say the European Union embassies, and hopefully the UK and London will open their doors to visitors for free of charge to enjoy food, music, and the culture of those different countries. of course, Jazz Festival, and other festivals and activities that take place in Washington, D.C. The 4th of July, great time to be in the city. Not the 4th of July in the UK is not a big deal, but clearly in America it is. It's a great value-added time to come to Washington, and why not take in a free concert and amazing fireworks while you're there in the city. And the list goes on, all on our website, washington.org, for visitors looking at coming to Washington, D.C.
Good. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Graham. Always a pleasure.
Cheers.